Kellyanne Conway is White House counselor, and she is now also the head of the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Now, of course, one of the big charges of that agency is to take on the opioid crisis. Now, that's something that, of course, that is obviously a huge issue in America. It's killing a lot of people. And it's one of the things that President Trump had actually promised to do something about. In fact, he ran on making sure that we help victims of the opioid epidemic. However, according to a new report in Politico, Conway's work at the administration's opioid abuse office has led to experts being frozen out of the decision-making process in favor of political hacks, political appointees, meaning that there are people working on something that is incredibly deadly, right? That is taking the lives of Americans every day. And yet they have people that are unprepared to actually do anything useful in order to stop it. Now, this article in Politico has led to has shown that Kellyanne's appointees and her strategy has led so far to involving a call for a border wall and a Just Say No campaign. So this is why she is the new Nancy Reagan. Because her advice is, just say no, kids. And by the way, build that wall. But that's not going to solve the problem. See, the majority of these addictions come from prescribed pain medications. You have things like oxycodone, Oxycontin, and other really powerful prescription drugs. And those lead to people taking heroin and fentanyl, right? So maybe we should actually go after those prescription drugs. But no. Let's build a wall, because this is obviously a problem that is caused by Mexico and not the pharmaceutical companies that give us tens of millions of dollars in campaign bribes. Basically, here's the ONDCP saying, you're on your own. Wonderful. There's more. Trump is expected to propose massive cuts this month to the drug czar office, just as he attempted in last year's budget before backing off. He hasn't named a permanent director for the office, and the chief of staff had been sacked in December. And for months, and we reported on this story before, the office's top political appointee was a 24-year-old Trump campaign staffer with no qualifications. Its senior leadership consists of a skeleton crew of 3 political appointees, down from 9 a year ago. Now, from that selection of individuals, does it seem like they care a lot about this issue? Former Trump administration staffer told Politico, quote, "It's fair to say the ONDCP has pretty much been systematically excluded from key decisions about opioids and the strategy moving forward." Meaning that they pretty much have no strategy, and the Trump administration is more of like, I don't know, I'm out of sight, out of mind. Let Jeff Sessions handle it by declaring a new war on drugs. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now, let me give you some more information that was in the article. The agency's acting director, Rich Baum, has not been invited to Conway's opioid cabinet meetings despite serving in the office for decades. Politico reports, as well as, and instead of 2 political appointees without any relevant experience attend on his behalf. So he doesn't show up, and 2 people who are not experts in this field on this issue have joined in his stead. One political appointee is Andrew Giuliani, the 32-year-old son of New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who the White House told Politico has no background in drug policy. So, what is this? This is obviously rewarding supporters with positions that look good on paper. Now, that means that they're not equipped at solving the problem. And the office itself, under Kellyanne Conway, basically all they want to do is demagogue people from Mexico. Now, remember, they're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. It's not the pharmaceutical companies that are at fault that offer kickbacks to doctors for over-prescribing certain drugs. No. It's the Mexicans. That's why we need a wall. And then, by the way, just say no. So, Again, if she's not working on solving the problem, then what is she doing other than demagoguing? Turns out, nobody even knows. Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia, who's being slammed, her state is being absolutely destroyed by this crisis, says, quote, "I haven't talked to Kellyanne at all, and I'm from the worst state for this. I'm uncertain of her role." This is a Republican saying, look, I don't even know what Kellyanne Conway is doing. Like, she hasn't talked to me at all. Now, Tom MacArthur, a Republican in New Jersey, says, quote, "If I want technical advice, I'm going to work with Baum. If I want to get a message to the president, Kellyanne is somebody that I know I can talk to." So that's like, basically the only thing that she's doing is she's acting as a relay to the president, who may or may not actually care about this issue, and I would lean towards he does not, because he obviously doesn't want to do anything about this issue. And finally, Regina LaBelle, the ONDC's chief of staff under President Obama, said it quite succinctly. She said, "I don't know what the agency is doing. I really don't." Again, they're not getting involved. They're not really doing anything. Now, I know what the agency should be doing. They should be going after the drug companies, the makers of these prescription drugs. We should also focus on treatment and prevention, and not going after the people who end up getting addicted. And look, we should actually fund programs that deal with addiction. But what does Trump wanted to do instead? Well, he's wanted to cut Medicaid funds, specifically for people who are dealing with addiction. Not only that, but he wants to fund partial solutions, meaning that he's only given a very, very minute, small amount of money towards fighting the opioid crisis, whereas the CDC estimates that we would need nearly $80 billion in funding to properly fund some of the solutions. Now, that just happens to be near the amount that he wants to give to the bloated military. And this problem, this is already crisis level. Death from drug overdoses related to opiates increased to more than 42,200 in 2016 alone. That is an increase over the previous year. And yet the Trump administration and Kellyanne Conway, they're doing nothing but bringing in political hacks so they can sit there and just not solve this problem. Look, we know the solutions, right? But as usual, nobody has the balls to stand up against the pharmaceutical companies or offer those real solutions. And look, I feel really bad for the people who believed Trump when he said he was actually going to help you. To those people, look, you guys got conned by the biggest con man there is. This isn't a ha-ha. This isn't an I told you so. People are dying. And look, I know that a lot of these people were desperate for solutions. And there are solutions out there. They're just not the ones pushed by Republicans or corporate Democrats or anybody funded by big pharmaceutical companies. So just know that. And know that the next time a politician talks about fighting this crisis, ask them how. And don't stop until you actually get real answers and not fake platitudes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.